Let's go to Washington, D.C. and speak to our North America correspondent, John Brain. John, a very unapologetic Pompeo there. What did you take away from that press conference we've just heard?
I don't think any surprises there, Maria. Very forthright comments from Pompeo, both justifying the American strike on Soleimani, but also warning Iran about the repercussions of any further actions that it might take in retaliation. Now, bear in mind that Pompeo is one of the leading hawks in this administration as far as Iran is concerned. It's believed that he was one of the loudest voices urging Donald Trump to assassinate Soleimani. So no surprises that he's doubling down on the warnings to Iran. He ridiculed the suggestion that Soleimani was on a diplomatic mission to Baghdad. He said, does anyone really believe that this was a man on a peace mission? So stark warnings and justifying the decision, not just on recent activities such as the killing of the American contractor, but looking at it in recent historical terms with the allegations that Iran has been stirring up trouble in so many other countries in that region.
And John, Mike Pompeo said, we hope Iran doesn't make another bad decision. What is Congress doing, or other strong voices in Washington, to prevent the possibility of war?
Well, Congress isn't on the same page necessarily as Pompeo and Donald Trump. As usual here in Washington, everything is unfolding along party political lines. So the Republicans have been generally very supportive of the action taken by the Americans, and the Democrats have been critical. They say that Congress should have been consulted before the US military action, and they want a resolution preventing Donald Trump carrying out further action without their say-so. They're very concerned, the Democrats, about a possible that this will lead into all-out war with Iran. So expect a lot of arguments in Congress over the coming few days as the lawmakers thrash this out.
And today, one of the big developments was Iran designating US forces and the Pentagon a terrorist organization. How does this change things right now for US forces across the Middle East and everywhere else?
I don't think it does change things. I think the US, since the killing of Soleimani, have been on high alert. They're expecting retaliation from Iran. They just don't know exactly where and when it's going to come. They've already put out a warning in the past few hours for shipping. You remember that last year there were attacks on tankers in the Strait of Hormuz, which have largely been blamed on Iran. They've been monitoring drone and missile movements. So they are expecting something. This latest classification, this latest warning by Iran isn't going to affect the way the Americans are treating this. They're gearing down. They know something will happen, but they claim they're ready for it.
And on one area where there is a lot of confusion is with regards to US forces in Iraq. Are they leaving? Are they not leaving? What's happening? A complete mess, Maria. This all came from a letter which was signed by a US general, talking about respecting the decision of the Iraqi parliament that US troops should leave, and saying there'd be some repositioning. The Pentagon have subsequently said that letter should not have been released, and have admitted it was very badly worded. It's caused utter confusion. But the bottom line message from the Americans is that their troops are not leaving Iraq. They're not going anywhere, and that's not surprising, because although it's Trump's long-term aim to bring the troops out of the Middle East, bring them back home, to do so now would look as though they're running away from Iranian threats. So there'll be nothing happening in the short term except, as I say, some sort of repositioning, perhaps, maybe moving them to other parts, some of them to other parts of Iraq, not keeping them all in concentrations in Baghdad. John Brain in Washington, thank you very much indeed.